Hello, and welcome to qualifying at Silverstone. This is one of the homes of Formula One, one of the legendary tracks. One I've not been brilliant at, but I do really enjoy the laps. So we're going to dive straight into qualifying one. And as usual, with the weather being quite nice for qualifying, we will let everybody else go out and set their first fast laps, and then we will go out on a nice empty track, no one to trip over us or us to trip over, and we can set a pretty decent time. Now once again, I have turned the AI up somewhat from the start of the season, although I do still feel that it may need to come up a little bit more. So we are just ending the lap, ready to start our first flying lap, and I am noticing there is a McLaren up ahead. No, he's just pulled off, so we have a nice clear track all the way up to Oscar Piastri, our teammate, who is probably on his in lap, but he is quite a long way ahead of us. So we begin our lap with our first right-hander almost flat out, and then we can make our way through this very actually technical and tricky section of corners here. And once through the apex, we can then plant our foot on the floor, accelerate up through the gears, open the rear wing with DRS, and absolutely throw the car down the back straight and then into the hairpin, which is again trickier than expected. It does tighten a little bit at the end, and then we're going to cut the inside corner as much as we dare, and then straight down the straight here, tap the brake, and then throw it around the right-hander. Just be brave and have faith that the car will hold the track. It usually does if you get it right. It doesn't if you get it wrong. And then through the quick S-bends, open the rear wing once again, and then throttle down the rear straight, and we're heading back into the stadium complex area. And there's the pits just off to our right. We're not going through there just yet. We've got one more chicane to take, and then floor it around the final corner and across the line, and we get a 1:33.0 that looked like. So not too bad. We're going to get ourselves back to the garage, and we're going to take a look at the timing screens, and we are a few tenths of a second clear of Max Verstappen. So we're not doing too bad on the AI difficulty, although like I said, I do think it can come up just a touch more. We will get to that at some point. So end of qualifying one, and we have pole position provisionally with Max Verstappen alongside us and George Russell behind us. So let's move on to the second qualifying session, and we're once again gonna let everybody else go out ahead of us, although this time round we're gonna use the exact same set of tyres we used for qualifying one. And the eagle-eyed amongst you may have noticed that it's going to be a wet race. Now the weather on this can be somewhat unpredictable, as in the weather forecast, and it may say a wet race and it may only rain at the end of the race, or there may be the threat of rain and it never comes, or it could be a complete downpour. Only time will tell. So we are about to start our second flying lap of the day. We have a nice clear track ahead of us. Everybody else is now back in the pits. And I'm looking at the cloud cover and it doesn't look great over there, but this is England, it pretty much always looks like that. So we don't have a threat of rain here, so starting our flying lap, we're just going to hook it up around that first corner, throw it around the next section, take it nice and easy through this one, nice and early on the brakes, and then early on the gas if you can, and then floor it all the way to the hairpin. I do know the names of the corners of these tracks, I just don't know which ones are which. So I do know we have Cobbs and Stowe and Beckett's and that, but I don't actually know which corners are which. For Monza, that is a completely different story. I definitely know which corners are which there. So we headed into the final section of the track. Well, the second section, should I say. We're just going to ease it through this section here. These S-bends are quite enjoyable if you get it right. Just easing off the accelerator, cruising round, and then easing off the accelerator a little bit more for each consecutive corner. We can then bomb it straight down the rear straight with our DRS wide open, and we can then head into the stadium section once again. Tricky little chicane here. I tend to get the second part quite wrong, but we cross the line and we have a 1:32.9. So we've gone a few tenths faster on old tyres. That is useful information. So we get back to the timing screen, and once again Max Verstappen is currently in second place, although George Russell has now been replaced by Lewis Hamilton. And we are quite a lot faster than Max Verstappen this time. 1.4 seconds faster to be exact. So let's go into the top 10 shootout and qualifying part 3. So as it is still sunny and we have a fault, we'll wait for everybody else to go out and set their time and give us a nice clean run at the pole position.
And we're going to be stuck in here for a
Let's
while.
just speed things up a little bit here and let everybody go out and set their times. As usual, Oscar Piastri has not made the cut. I am considering if we do a second season that he will be up for transfer, as he has not made any progress, though he doesn't always start on the back row anymore. So some progress, but not nearly enough in Formula 1. So let's start our final lap of the qualifying session. We just have the final chicane to go here before we begin the timer, and this time round we are on brand new soft tyres, so we want to set the fastest possible time that we can, move ourselves as far up the grid as possible. So into this hard braking zone, turn in nice and early, take plenty of curb, same with this one, floor it, again hit the inside as take as much as you like, open the DRS and fly down to the hairpin once again. Now I tend to brake slightly less than necessary for that hairpin and take a lot of curb, more than you really should, but it does mean that I can hold my speed through that corner much better than the AI can. So that is at one point on the track in the lap where I make a nice chunk of time. This point here is also another, if I can get this little S section correct during the race, I will be able to gain significantly on my competitors. I am assuming I won't be in first place right from the very start. As soon as we get off the line, I'm sure someone will pass me if I'm on pole position. I am very bad at the starts at the moment, haven't quite found where the revs need to be. so I tend to bog down for the starts of the race. So we finally crossed the line and we have a 1:32.3.
With qualifying finished, it's time to remind ourselves once again of our top three: Tempest, Hamilton and Charles Leclerc. With qualifying wrapped up now, we have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
So there we go, qualifying now done and dusted. Join us in a few hours where we will take on the British Grand Prix. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.